Right, okay. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to another live segment on Canon Follow TV, apparently the channel for Arsenal fans all over the globe. And I'm joined by my two brothers. We've just been speaking Swahili. What they have. I don't know Swahili, man, but they're going to teach me Swahili at some time. And I'm willing to pay. I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay. Brother Prosper, what's happening, man? What's happening?
Not much is happening, but we've endured the times, and here we are at Canon TV. We still remain optimistic, and we're hoping for the best.
Yeah, always hope, but it's the hope that kills, man. The hope that kills.
It's the hope that kills, but the hope that gets us there eventually.
Brother Isaac, how are you?
Yeah, here I am. You've got to have your shock absorbers because you've said the hope that kills.
Come on, Isaac. Don't heat it up. We're just doing the intro.
If you don't have your shock absorbers, you are gonna be shocked.
Yeah. We've had one too many shocks over the last 20 odd years, man. But anyway, guys, listen. Have a look at this. All right. So this is a poll that we did yesterday about how many potential signings do we believe, or the people who follow Canon 42 believe that we're going to get. And on 47% of the votes believe that we're not going to get any signings in this January transfer window. 28% believe it's going to be maybe one signing, and I think that's 30% believe it's going to be two signings, and 7% believe it's going to be three signings. We're not going to get three signings this transfer window. We're not going to get three. But Prosper, realistically, can you see us getting any players in this January transfer window?
I don't see that happening because we spent a lot of pounds, millions of pounds in the before season transfer period, buying players we didn't need. And if I look at it, that's just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that, as I've repeatedly said on the group, we are almost in a Ponzi scheme, in a pyramid scheme. That's what we've become as a club. This is a pyramid scheme. You know? Get us to somewhere, then when you get us to there, we play delay tactics. This is more of a scheme by the board. From the board side, I look at it as they don't want to spend any money so that if the season doesn't go as planned, they have an excuse to keep Arteta for another season because he's their guy. He's executing to their plan. On the other side, Arteta goofed before the season started. We wouldn't have spent that money on Kai, we have spent it on center forward. We needed a center forward 2 seasons ago. So for me, we're not buying any player.
Isaac, man. No signings this transfer window, man.
For me, we might only have one, and that will be a Saliba backup. Are we going to get a striker? Probably not. Why? Because at the moment, Toney is very expensive, and we need to sell fast before buying. It all depends on outgoings. And for the striker part, I believe Arteta wants to use Havertz both as a midfielder and as a false nine. And he also wants to use Trossard as a false nine. He has Jesus, he has Nketiah as number nines. So number 9 is not likely. Midfield, not likely, given the fact that we have El Neni, we have Havertz, who's also playing as a midfielder. We have Jorginho, we have Rice. I don't believe we are going to have a midfielder incoming. For Saka backup, I don't think even Arteta has ever seen the need of having a Saka backup. because if he had seen the need of having a Saka backup, he already would have bought one. But sometimes he's using Nelson as a Saka backup. Left back, we are not going to get a left back because he's waiting on this guy we got from Julian Timber to recover, because I saw he's almost there. And given the fact that Tomiyasu is also fit and he can use him as a right back and as a left back, I don't think he's going to get a left back, but he might go for a right-footed centre back. That is one.
Isaac, I remember when Gabriel Jesus was injured last season and Eddie Nketiah had to step up until he came back from injury. And I was thinking, even at that time, Mikel Arteta surely could have seen that we needed a quality striker. And so, like, almost 12 months later, lightning has struck twice in the same position. Gabriel Jesus out injured. We had to rely on Eddie Nketiah because he's our top scorer. Our top scorer. Now, Ivan Toney, we could have bought him the point when he got banned for those months there. And now all those months after, we have to pay probably premium valuation for an Ivan Toney. So what is it? Is it we're so stubborn in our own way that we can't see the wood through the trees? What is it? What is it, Isaac? I don't get it, because surely it's obvious that we need a striker that can guarantee us goals. No?
It's true we need a striker, but we've always had one problem. Right now we brought in Raya, that is on a loan, because of the FFP issues, that we do not want ourselves to get caught up in the having a breached FFP. We've always had a problem on selling players. So our sell has been so low that we have to overstretch in our buying. So we have to limit ourselves. I'll give an example. You look at Chelsea, the kind of the amount of money they sold players last season. They gave us Havertz with 65, gave Manu, they gave them a player with around 55, and then to Saudi, they sold around three to five players, of which all of them were 45 and above million. And our highest sell, who is Bolagun, is 40 million. So having to balance the books with the kind of business we're having in our outgoings versus our incomings becomes hard for us to go into this window, and not necessarily into this window or into any other window, and buy big and buy so many players like Chelsea did. Last season they bought Mudryk, they bought Caicedo, both at 100, and season before that they had Enzo Fernandez for 100, and they've been buying and buying and buying. And the other day I was asking my Chelsea friends, and I was making a joke, and I told them, it looks like you guys are done playing football. What you want to do is you want to own every player in the soccer or in the footballing system, so that when you're loaning them out, you are just generating money, because you go to, like, majority of the clubs, they have a Chelsea loanee. But with us, we are really struggling trying to buy, and we cannot buy because we fear or we could be caught up in a financial fair play breach. And it's because our outgoings, that is our sell, is so poor. We do not know how to do business when it comes to selling. So if we improve on that, we can be able to stretch and buy players when needed most. Like right now, we need Ivan Toney. That is for sure. We need a striker.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is, if we have to bring Ivan Toney in, we probably have to let either Nketiah or Jesus go. And I don't see him letting Jesus go. He might, if it is a must that he brings in Toney, he'll have to sacrifice Nketiah for that, and he'll have also to offload another player so that the amount of outgoing might balance with the amount we'll have to pay for Ivan Toney to come in, because I don't foresee a situation where Brentford are going to give us Ivan Toney on loan like they did for Raya. They are never going to do that, because at the moment they don't have their two best forwards.
Yeah.
They are out for AFCON. That is Onyeka and Mbuemo. They are out, and I don't foresee a situation where they are going to give us Ivan Toney on loan, and it is a position we seriously need to strengthen. Last season, we fall short of of winning the Prem. That is when we lost Saliba to an injury, and when we could not finish our chances, and we need a ruthless striker who can finish our chances. And it's sad that we went for a striker from Genoa, and our bid was rejected, apparently.
Yeah.
That is for 20 million. That shows how much we are not serious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm even envying Tottenham, the kind of business they are doing. If I'm honest, I could say the Tottenham manager has so much vision. He goes to a club, brings in a player who's totally not known, but he knows his quality and immediately fits into the system. Who knew Vicario from
Oh, I think we have lost Isaac.
Okay.
Prosper, you know, can
Yeah.
you make sense of all this madness at Arsenal?
Let me pick it up from where Isaac started. I went through it in a rush just to give it the headlines, and Isaac has articulately put it in perspective. If you look at, as Isaac has put it, our business dealings haven't been that well. And the financial fair play also has come into play. But how did we get here where we start with the financial fair play violation?
Mm-hmm.
It's because we haven't been doing good business. We haven't been spending good money on what we actually need. If we had spent that 65 million pounds on somebody else than Kai Havertz, definitely wouldn't be in this fix right now.
No,
Because 2 seasons.
but we would have, because we would have still spent that 65 million pounds. No?
The fix I'm talking about is where we don't have a center forward that we need, yet we go to buy an extra midfielder, yet we've got a barrage of midfielders. You see? And these are midfielders, and most of them we can't even sell out because we're going out there, we spend very big money on players that are not up there in terms of the quality and the club they're coming to. It's almost as if they're coming to Arsenal to market themselves, to add value to themselves than to add value to the club. You see?
Understood.
So now we have a problem where we can change, and I'll argue with Isaac a bit here, because we cannot afford to sell out one center forward and risk having only two till the end of the season. But I can surely afford to lose several midfielders in that squad. There are just some midfielders that are not just performing on the day. I don't see El Nini getting Michael game time. I don't see Jorginho. Actually, for El Nini and Jorginho, I would rather sell off Jorginho. You know? And this Portuguese guy, what's his name again?
Vieira, Fabio Vieira.
Vieira. I don't see Vieira as a, you know, I would rather lay off Vieira and Jorginho just to keep Ivan Toney in the club. in the team, or some other center forward in the team. We need that security. Is our squad that bad? I don't think so. I mean, if I'm looking at Aston Villa and where they are right now, the quality of football they're playing, player for player, if I'm looking at our squad, I don't think we are that bad. Actually, we're way better than them. So, which brings me to go on.
But so if you're going to compare that team, let me ask you this question: can you honestly say, with the squad that we have, that we are better than Liverpool, Prosper?
With the squad that we have, from the back probably to I think the only part where we lack in the center forward, honestly speaking.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, it's a center forward. Honestly speaking, that's where we're misfiring. And it's not because probably we don't have a good center forward or what, but it's because of the system. Because player for player, there's some midfielders in the Liverpool team. A short guy, I can't really remember his name. If I compare him to Rice and whoever, he's miles away. But what that team has is a manager who understands his players. You see? He's not there playing fancy football. He's not there trying to entertain or try to put his name out there. He brought this brand of game to Liverpool. No, he's there to win games. I mean, you can tell what the Klopp kind of game is. You can't tell.
Right.
You see? He plays football.
So then, are Arsenal better than Man City?
We are not better than Man City. Player for player, we I think 2 levels behind Man City. Player for player, we're 2 levels behind Man City. But my argument here is, okay, I mean, I've seen Leicester win the league with a very mediocre squad against the same Man Cities, which were like 5 generations ahead of Leicester. But it's all about consistency, understanding your players. You're not going to play Jimmy Vardy to play Iniesta kind of football. Jimmy Vardy is a pacey player. Give him something to run to, and that's where Arteta gets it wrong. So for me, even the squad we have right now is not as bad. But are we using our players according to their strengths, which we're not doing? So now we have to look for another center forward. But if he comes, will he fit in? Because Arteta wants him to play a kind of game that he's not adapted to.
But Prosper, so let me go back. So the statement you just made there, you're saying that our squad are not that bad, but you still be willing to sell some of our players. El Neni, Fabio Vieira, Jorginho, maybe Reece Nelson. No? That's 4 players.
I would still be willing to sell, not Reece Nelson, but I would still be willing to sell Jorginho, Vieira, just to back up the point Isaac was saying. If we have to get in another center forward, we need to lay off some players. I would rather lay off some players in the midfield, and keep our center forward with 3, because every time we end in the season with some injuries and we have only 1 center forward who gets exhausted. But I would rather lay off El Nini, Jorginho, Vieira, because it's definitely we're just playing Rice, and probably we're playing Rice, Partey, and who else are the 3 regulars? The rest of the guys are usually just warming the bench, So if push comes to shove, I would rather offload our midfield and keep our center forwards till the end of the season, then see, okay, who can we lay off after we've pushed as much as we can? Because that's the department that we haven't really invested in as much for the past 2 seasons.
Well, Isaac, you're back. I know you were making a quite valid point. Did you want to continue your point that you were making, Isaac?
I guess Arteta sent his agents because I was downloading facts. I'd like to back up what Prosper is saying. We have several players who are not even making to the match day squad because they are always injured. We have Partey and Elneny. Like for instance, Elneny has been injured for the longest time. And when he came on, he also left with an injury that day. We've had Partey injured for a very long period of time. But when it comes to international duty, we always send him to international duty alongside a physio, which I believe is also another expense. But this time round, seems like they thought of it and said, no, we are not going to give you Partey because we're always sending you Partey, and he comes back injured. So it's like we're having him in a hospital and then we releasing him back to home, and then he comes back to our hospital. It's like Arsenal is his hospital for recovery. So we've got to let go of players so that we can have some new or fresh players coming in. I was saying, like, for example, when you look at Tottenham at the moment, I foresee Tottenham building up to become a strong top 4 team seasons to come, because you can see the kind of signings Ange is making. He's not going for very high profile players, but he's going for players who fit his system. And it is like we passed the baton to Tottenham from playing attacking football last season, and they are the ones that are playing attacking football. And for us, we have gone back to our sideways and backward passing. The last game I watched, my fellow Gunners, we are so disappointed because the kind of runs we were making last season, that is the incisive runs, the forward runs. You see Martinelli making a forward run, but instead of him being given the ball is passed backwards. And so many teams are now confident playing against us. If you're passing backwards and sideways, then they are going to counter attack, have their goals, and then park the bus. And we are really, really suffering as a fan base. We were so happy, and right now we are in a mourning mood. We are mourning because we are not happy. Let me hope their vacation in Dubai will have them back rejuvenated and having rethought of what they are doing. I really, really liked Arteta, but it seems like he's a very, very stubborn man. He does what he wants, and at whatever time he wants. He doesn't see that this system, this season, is not working best for him. He does not want to change. He is very resistant to change. He wants to play in a certain way. So if he has to be a top manager, he has to adopt. He has to be able to shift in games. If plan A doesn't work, then there is a plan B and plan C up to plan Z. But for him, it is plan A and plan A, no questions.
But you know what, Isaac? When I look at Mikel Arteta, at least in this season, he should be under pressure. He should be under pressure for his job. But when I see him, the decisions that he makes there, he looks like someone who's not under pressure because he's been backed by Edu, the board, a vast majority of the fan base. He doesn't look like he's someone under pressure. He's not under pressure. And I'm sure come next season, if we don't get, or if we do not win the Premier League, because there's no way we're going to win the Champions League, I am sure he will still be our manager. And I'm not saying that to say that I'm Arteta out. To me, he doesn't look like he's a manager under any pressure at all, Prosper. He will be here next season. He'll be here next season.
Yeah. Alex, as I said in the first place, we're running a Ponzi pyramid scheme at Arsenal. We have to reach a point where we have to accept this is a pyramid scheme. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You know, because let me start from here. This whole business of picking up a manager who's never proven it, who's never grown up in the system, and you just boot camp the manager to a big team. This is the price we're paying now. And believe me, the moment Arteta will leave Arsenal, that might be the end of his career. He'll end up in League One, League Two. He'll be lucky to keep a job in what's the league after the league below the Championship?
The Championship.
League One.
He'll be lucky to keep win the Championship. He might keep a job there, but he won't perform. You see, because he hasn't ascended through the ranks. You know, when you ascend through the ranks, there's a process, there's things that you learn, there's player management you learn from there. There's how to build confidence in the player who doesn't know I've got the talent, but I don't have the confidence, you know? So he has to learn all those processes and to say, okay, I like this kind of football, but it won't work with this kind of players. I need to switch, as Isaac was saying, I need to adapt to another system or figure out another way. Look at when Arteta just came in. He wasn't about fancy football or anything. We would have soaked in the pressure, then bang, one long ball to Aubameyang is a goal. We're winning trophies. And that's a manager who was understanding. I'm still an underdog. The players I have in the pitch are not of good quality to play keep ball. So let's use the best system we can use with the players available. And it used to work. Then he won trophies. He won the board to his side. Now he said, okay, now I'm big. And probably they've assured him, we're not getting your job, no matter what happens. As long as you keep us in top four, you're keeping your job. It's all about for the money for us, and even you, it's all about the money. He's fine, he's comfortable. That's why he's able to play Havertz even when he's misfiring. He's able to keep Saka in the team even when Saka is not performing. And his substitutions are so predictable. Havertz, Saka not performing, he will pull out Martinelli, who's performing at 75 minutes all the time. And you wonder, this is the only guy taking the top front, but why is he being pulled out? These other guys are not posing a threat and they're still in the game. You see? So everything is, to me, it shows that this is the person who's comfortable, who's home. And this is not supposed to be the case. So when people say Arsenal is still a big club, I'm telling them, no, this is not how a big club performs. A big club must be big in terms of decision making, must be big in terms of being ruthless. You goof, you go out. You know? What we've been seeing at our club cannot happen at Manchester United. I'm sorry to say so. You see?
But you know what? I mean, I know we're going to talk about this, although we've kind of merged the topics. But when I look at Arsenal last season, after 17 games, we were on top. I think, let's have a quick look here. So after 17 games, we amassed, I think, 45 points. We had 14 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. But to look how we are now this season, we're so different. You know, you look at Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, all these players there, and now all of them are off form. Is it down to the tactics? Is it down to the players? I really don't know what's happened, Isaac. We're so different compared to last season.
We are very different by far. And I've been watching clips, even in training, and I can see Arteta even in training with the players. If you want to become a player, then be a player. You are in the system, because if you are playing the one-touch football with the players, and then you are part of that system, be a manager and not a player. Because if you take that piece out, then actually in training he's like he's playing football.
Yeah.
If you take that piece out, then there is something missing. Just be a manager, instruct them on how to play. Do not over engage in playing football instead of managing. There's a very big difference between loving the club and being a good manager. You can love that club as much, but not a good manager. I understand he loves the club and he says he belongs, but he's got to give us results. There is one wise man who said, pride comes before a fall. And I can see Arteta is very proud at the moment because he's been backed. That is one thing for sure. It's like he was told, come what may, you are our manager. As long as you don't go 10 games and be 10 games on a losing streak, you are our manager. But we've got to be honest, this game is very, very emotional.
Yeah.
That's why you see even in finals or semi-finals, when a team loses a game, there are so much emotions. And if not even in cup finals or semi-finals, but even when a team is losing a game, towards the dying minutes of that match, you will see tempers flaring and you will see emotions building up. It is a game of emotions. When we are winning, we are happy. But when we are not winning, we are very sad. Like for me at the moment, I'm a very sad man.
Robert, don't be sad, man.
Because you can imagine all my friends singing that, "Lo, the elephant has broken its backbone. It is in ICU." You see? But what I keep telling them is that the elephant went to drink water. It is coming back. But if Arteta continues this way, I don't see the elephant coming back from downstream. It might rest downstream and forget coming back to the mountain. So he's got to show, number one, he's got to show ambition. Because at the moment, I don't see an ambitious man in Arteta. He's got to be ambitious and be adaptive, be able to adopt to the kind of system that is proposed by the opponent. If you have an opponent who's proposing a defensive or a low block, you've got to be able to unlock that low block. If you have an opponent who's pressing, you've to be able to bypass the press and make changes where necessary. Not that because Saka is your star boy, and when he is misfiring and when he's not performing, you cannot sacrifice him. The last game, he took off Nelson. And I was like, what do you mean? You take off Nelson. You take off Nelson, who's having a good game. You leave Saka, who's having probably the worst game of his life. And then you bring in Martinelli, who's also not on form. If I was Arteta, I would have taken off Saka, shifted Nelson to Saka's position, and then brought in Martinelli if you want to bring in Martinelli. Exactly. That was what was on my mind. But for him, you take off Nelson, who's having a good game, and leave Saka. Since he had that brown dye on his head, we haven't won a game. That is, since he dyed his head, since Christmas, we haven't won. But for Ben White, he had his white dye during our West Ham game, and we lost. And he went and dyed his hair black. He went to factory reset mode, and we started performing. But for Saka, he has not reset yet. I'm going to do away with his brown hair and go back to normal because it is not doing him any good. It is not doing him any good. And it is, I have no words because I'm a very sad man.
Don't be sad. Isaac, very quickly. Is that down to him not having a strong number two? And you know he's got Albert Steinberg, but surely your number two is saying to actually, boss, don't take off his swap him over on the other wing, take off Bukayo Saka, and maybe put Trossard in that position on the left-hand side. So is it because he doesn't have a strong number two, or is he just so stubborn that he's going to do whatever he's going to do, Isaac?
A stubborn man is a stubborn man. Even if you give him Pep as a number two, he's going to be stubborn. He's going to do whatever he wants. He's very, very stubborn. Because everybody who was watching that game could see Saka was struggling. Even a layman, even my mom, who doesn't know soccer, even if I put her in front of the screen, she'll say, this guy is struggling.
Man is struggling.
I'll tell my mom, this is how we play soccer. Look, this is how we play soccer. And then she'll say, then who's this on the right wing? He seems to be struggling. Everybody could see Saka was struggling. Like, for instance, yesterday I was watching the United game, and I told my United friends, at the moment, Eriksen is struggling. If he wants to balance this game, he's got to take Eriksen off and bring on McTominay. And it didn't take long. He did exactly that. If I can see that this player is struggling, just take him off and bring on someone who can bring balance. Saka is struggling. Saka is misfiring. Even if you love him to the moon and back, even if you want to give him confidence, just take him off. You want to win the game, because this is a game of results. We are not playing friendlies. It is a game of results. You want results, take him off. However much you love him, even if you love him, then protect him. Protect him by taking him off. And swapping Nelson to the other wing and bring. Actually, for me, don't bring. I did not want him to bring Martinelli on. For me, he had to take Saka off, swap Nelson to the other side, and bring Trossard on. Because for me, Trossard is more on form than Martinelli.
But he can't get any game time. He can't.
Give me Arteta's number, please.
Prosper.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So much has been said,
Yeah, man.
It all comes back to the business end of the game, as Isaac has said. We're not here to nature people or to play with people's fantasies. What has changed from last season to this season? That was the question, the big question. And it's simple. As I said, last season, Arteta had a target. The board were on his neck. You got to get to Champions League. We need that money. He got to Champions League. Complacency came in. They are happy. He's happy. That's the end game. Because even if you see last season, the transfer business that happened last season was so encouraging. And then when you get that close to getting there and you start the season this well, explain to me why you can't just invest in one center forward, just one. When last season you spent a lot of money just to get to Champions League position. Then this season, you so close. I mean, the first team and us are not that far. It's up for grabs for any other team. But explain to me why it's not viable right now to spend money on just one player that could change the course of the league, the outcome of everything. We can't do that because why? The board and Arteta have reached their target, which is top 4. It's all about revenue for me. Yeah. That's the reason why this season we're not performing well. And probably sank down to the players because when Arteta just came in, he had the target, take this team to top 4. So he didn't care who he's playing. If it's Aubameyang who's misfiring, Aubameyang go out. So everybody had chills in their spine. If I mess up, if Aubameyang had to go, Lacazette had to go. Who am I? If I mess up, I'm gonna go. So every player was pushing themselves to the limit. But when this whole thing came up to the players, okay, you guys are not under pressure. Chill, you've achieved what the board wanted. They're chilled out. And as Isaac said, I'm going to refer to Isaac, Saka. Even Arsenal has gone to that old Chelsea syndrome where if you mess around with John Terry and Lampard as a manager, these are English boys. Definitely your job is on the line. If they could get Jose Mourinho out. And that's what has become of Saka. Probably I feel Saka is that English boy that every English guy wants to see in the lineup. If Arteta keeps him on bench, or if Arteta messes with him, he'll mess up that dressing room. So he's been given special treatment just because he's an English player who can destabilize that dressing room, but which is not the case. If he's goofing, bring back Marquinhos. I like Marquinhos' game. I like players that are direct. I don't like players who beat around. Bring back Marquinhos.
Yeah.
Let's have something different. Let Saka realize, okay, this boy is going to give me a hard time. But when he reaches the point, I'm an English player, I'm a star. If he messes with me, he's getting kicked out because all the fans will be like, why aren't you playing Saka? Why aren't you playing Saka? And this is the trend at Arsenal. If you look even in the group discussion, nobody will call Saka out. Only a brave few like us. Nobody will call Saka out, even when he's goofing. And I started a long time ago. This guy is not doing anything. Keep him out. But they'll always point Martinelli and all these other players. But Saka, don't touch.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So that's where we are right now. So everything that's happening this season has trickled down from the board. We've wasted so much money on useless players. This transfer, last season, everybody was on their toes. If I don't perform, Arteta is going to kick me out. If he can kick out Zaka, if he can kick out Aubameyang, if he can kick out even the other goalkeepers we have, those were big names compared to the young boys that we played with last season. So they would always play on their toes thinking, if I don't perform, who am I? If he kicked out so-and-so. You see? But this time around, everybody at Arsenal is at home. They're having ice cream at some beach somewhere, watching sunsets, and it's good for them. But it's bad for us.
But they're probably watching us, Prosper. They're probably watching Cannon Fodder.
I mean, this is what I was talking about on the group. I was like, okay, when do us as supporters come in and say we've had enough? Because the other problem that we have is the Arsenal fan base. They still go to the stadium, they buy their season tickets, they still go there, buy merchandise. Let's just drop, even 10% of drop in sales has a lot of say. But you find people buying as if all is well. We're talking about 20 years now. We're going towards 20 years ever since the last time we won the league.
Well,
we were laughing at Liverpool for 30 years. We're getting there. And not only look at every club that you call big at the Premier League. They've won the Champions League. We are the only ones who've never won a major trophy, a big major trophy. So when we talk about we're a big club and everything, how do we justify that? With the FA Cup? I don't think so. You have to be up there pushing it with the big boys. and which we can't do, and we're not doing right now. So for me, last season, this season as well, the difference has come up because of the board. The board's focus is not to win trophies. It's always been, ever since they took over that club, it's always been about the money, the Ponzi scheme, the pyramid Ponzi scheme. That they've been running there.
Yeah, well, Prosper, well done on that, man. Listen, I've got to go into the live chat because there's been a lot of comments in the live chat I need to catch up on. But guys, we're going to get to the last segment that we got on the agenda. But let me go through the live comments and see who was joining us so far. So we've got Colin who says a giant ambition-less zero, because we were asking about how many players are Arsenal going to get in this January transfer window, and I've been listening to some of the podcasts, and they also believe that Arsenal probably will not sign not one single player. They might say, "Oh, we tried to get this player, but we got turned down. We're trying this player." But I think in the bigger scheme of things, Arsenal are not really serious to buy any player in this January transfer window. But anyway, PR process will tell us this is how it had to be, all whilst Uncle Sam gets more money. Get it, Alex? Smash that like button up, slackers. It's the only thing Uncle Stan and the packet Joss cannot take. And we've got Johnny Gizaguna says a new king of Denmark is apparently he's a gooner. I didn't realise that, actually. Emerson, good evening, says good evening, Alex, Isaac, and Prosper. Colin backs up that comment by saying, according to Forbes, 2018, Stan Kroenke, the year he became full owner of Arsenal, net worth 8.4 billion. 2023, Stan Kroenke net worth 12.9 billion. But we worry about profit and sustainability. Well, sustainability, as I understand it, guys, is from the FA, whereas the football fair play rules is from FIFA. So they're two different organizations trying to balance their books. Just a few more. Make it make sense, Uncle Alex. I can't make any sense of it at all. Moderator for the show is Ashley. He says, hey up, Gooners. The books are being cooked, Isaac. You are lobbying for Kroenke's bank accounts, man. Well, I would love whatever Stan Kroenke has. What else do we have here? We wasted money on useless Havertz and a goalkeeper we did not need. That money could have helped get a top striker. Isaac, your thoughts? Rather than getting Kai Havertz, we probably could have got a top striker.
Which top striker?
Any striker better than the ones that we have.
Honestly, I have never comprehended why we brought in Havertz.
And he's saying this one, and the goalkeeper. And he's saying David Raya. Did we really need David Raya? We didn't need him, did we? Or did we?
Raya was Arteta's dream from first.
Yeah.
He first wanted Raya, but when he could not get Raya, they went for Alex Runarsson. People don't forget we still have Runarsson. And Runarsson had a howler in the cup game. we seem like we are not serious at all because of the kind of business that we are doing.
Yeah,
he wanted Raya because of his ball playing ability, but he brought himself very big problems because you have Ramsdale, who's a good goalkeeper, and then we have Raya, who's also a good goalkeeper because of his ball playing ability. They are not that separate. Just one that is good playing the ball with his feet than the other. That's the only thing that separates them. and then you have a problem at, on your hands that you cannot you cannot solve, that you have brought upon yourself. It is your own doing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you go pay Havertz. You pay 65 for Havertz, while Man City have paid 55 for Erling Haaland. Are you serious? And
Well,
then someone was saying over here, uh, I was laughing at my United friends, and I was telling them someone needs to go to the United dressing room board and ask, for those who supported us buying Anthony for 85 million, please raise up your hands. If they raise their hands, and then we chase them away. How can you buy Anthony for 85 million, and then you sell Elanga, who's become a threat at this time and point? Is like we should go to the Arsenal board and ask who supported Harvard 65 mil bid. If they raise up their hands, then you chase them away from the club because they are not serious. Because seriously, brother Alex, Man City gets Haaland for 55 million. I did not believe that, because at the moment I thought they'll have paid 100 plus, because he was worth 100 plus. How do you
I
buy
was
him
thinking
at 55?
200.
Yes, even 200. Right now, if we dare say we want we said we want Toney, and then we were told you have got to pay 80 at the lowest, and then 100 plus. If we dare say we even want a player, let's say Solanke, that is from Bournemouth will say they want 80. I don't know if we are soft boys. And actually, there was some times back, I was reading the history of the fan base, that Arsenal, those who support Arsenal, tend to be soft boys. We tend to be soft, and anybody can just walk on us. But those who support Chelsea are bullies. And I tend to agree. I don't know who did that survey or who did that research. We are even bullied when buying players. We are bullied, pay 100, we pay. We are bullied, pay 65 for Havertz, we pay. We could have said Havertz 65. No, we are going to look for an alternative who is even better than Havertz. We can go even to Bundesliga and get a player from there for 40 million. And that is it. But it's like please give us Havertz 65 it is. Okay, 65, then here it is. We are so soft, and we are not ambitious enough. We should be ambitious, and we should be ruthless in doing business. It is 40, that is what we can afford. And if it goes more than that, we give you 45. That is it. Take it or leave it.
Dear me. Prosper, here's one. I think what you were saying, actually. Arsenal are not ready to spend. And Mikel Arteta believes in Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah will score the goals for us. It's not going to happen, Prosper.
Well, the issue of Eddie Nketiah is a dicey one. If you remember last week or the other week, I threw it out in the group. I mean, look at Aston Villa. I don't believe the center forward they have is way better than Eddie Nketiah.
Ollie Watkins.
My point has always been the manager doesn't know what he's doing with the players. Because I've seen Eddie Nketiah carry that team when the team needed a center forward. And at that time, he was still young, and everything was thrown at him when he was that player who warmed the bench, even if he's on form. Like Emil Smith-Rowe is warming the bench. And then
Have we lost Prosper? I think we have lost
Arteta's agents have come in and they do not want Prosper to give us the truth. You see, brother Alex, right now, if there is a fan base that is mourning, it is an Arsenal fan base. Because at the moment, from the way we were performing and from where we have dropped to, and I saw someone say that we are not badly off if we win the Crystal Palace game, and then we are going to be 2 points off the first place. But then the thing is, last season, Arteta won almost all his derbies. This season, he's only won 2 derbies. That is Brentford and Crystal Palace. And it was for Crystal Palace, it was a struggle, 1-0 win. And the rest is either a draw or we have lost. We've lost to Fulham, we've lost to West Ham, and the first leg we drew to Fulham, we've drawn to at home against Tottenham. Seriously, these are games we are supposed to win, and these are games that give us pride. Like yesterday, I was telling my friends, it is very hard as an Arsenal fan to support Tottenham, and it is very hard for an Arsenal fan to support United because you are enemies. We are not a derby, but you are enemies. And I was telling my United friend, I have a United friend, I was telling him, you see, if you are true Arsenal fan, because there were Arsenal fans in the arena where we watch football, who are supporting United. And I was telling them, if you are true Arsenal fan, you will never support United despite who they are playing. And you cannot support Tottenham because they are our rivals. So for them, I told them, for me, the best result for me is a draw because I do not support either of them, and they drew. That is what I told them. A true Arsenal fan, you will never support United, even if United are playing against Liverpool and Liverpool on top. You will never support them, and you can never support Tottenham, and that is it. That is it. So we have got to be serious. At the moment, we are not serious. We are not that we are not serious. As a fan base, we are serious because we are mourning. It is the management that is not serious. They should be serious and do serious business and give us happiness. We deserve to be happy. We have not been happy for a very long time, and we do not want to be a Liverpool waiting for 30 years to have a league cup. We want it is either now or now. That is what we want. Stop being stubborn and listen. And learn to adopt and to change the system. If it does not work, do not force. Just if you try bending clay when it is hard, it will break. So it is like Arteta has built clay and it has hardened and is unable now to bend that clay. Do not mold clay because you can never bend clay.
Well said.
So let him be a man who's open-minded. Listen to even the fan base themselves. Sometimes watch Cannon Fodder and we'll tell you Saka is struggling. Instead of taking Nelson off, accept you are wrong, and next time if Saka is struggling, just take him off, leave Nelson and bring on Trossard. Do not bring Martinelli, who is also struggling. And this season is like he runs without looking where he's going, and then backwards and sideways. I remember there's someone we were on with that is one of the Easy Talks, and he was saying Arsenal is backward and sideways. And we should be forward minded. Let's play attacking football. Let's be beautiful football, and let's be happy. And sometimes do not overplay. Try shooting from outside the box. That is, you can score goals. Sometimes I see us overplaying. It's like we want to play Wenger ball. Remember when during Wenger's time, if you shoot, then you are benched. Try shooting because last season actually against Fulham, it was a deflected strike, which was Odegaard's, which was a shot from outside the box. And against Tottenham, our win at their ground was a shot from outside the box, which was Odegaard's shot. So we should try shooting from outside the box, and let's be serious. Offload players who are not helping, like offload Partey, because at the moment there is no Partey. Offload him, bring in another midfielder who you can rely on, because you cannot rely on Partey at the moment. Totally, you cannot rely on Partey. Offload Mohamed El Neni, because at the moment, however much he loves the club, however much we love him, it is an emotional game. It is a game of results. If they cannot give you results, please offload them and bring someone who can give you results.
Yeah,
that is it for me.
Prosper was speaking truth to power. Now, I had a funny feeling that was Mikel Arteta who just cut you off, Prosper. Prosper, come back.
Sorry.
Go on, man.
So sorry, I had network problems. Once in a while, we have those around here. We've been having power sage problems for the past. It's been raining heavily, actually. But I was talking about Edin Ketia. I was saying any man who's proven himself on the pitch deserves game time, and it deserves that respect, you know. But for me, if I look at the squad, we are not as bad. But as Isaac has said, the manager, I don't think, you know, it's what at some point I was stressing up to other, I got some very vibrant, in our house, we have, my mom has always been Liverpool since the John Barnes days, Ian Rush, you see, and my dad has always been was Manu, he's late now, and we have all these Manu things in the house. So even us as children, we've got teams and separate teams and everything. So it's always been that soccer family where we go at each other and everything. So my sister, my other sister and young brother are Liverpool fans. So they have their friends who are also Liverpool fans. So they're always in my DM before the game and after the game and everything with the elephant, you know? So this other time I was telling them that, you know what? There's a difference between having the technical know-how of the game and just being privileged to find yourself as a manager of a top club. And for me, Arteta, it's all about just chance. The fact that he played for Arsenal, a big club, he's been a professional big footballer, he finds himself there. But honestly, if I was taken and given Arteta's job, I can't make the silly mistakes he makes that we can easily point out. You know, there's some silly mistakes which are 1 + 1 = 2. There's no way you can miss that and write 11. No way. And Arteta does
For Arteta, it is 11.
You see, he does that. You see, so for me, when you look at it from the players and everything, we can debate about the players on another day when we have a better manager. But when the manager himself is that bad and is not playing to the strength of the players, then you look at the squad and you're like, okay, I'm looking player for player, Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Arsenal is a way better squad. But why are they trashing us? And why is every team so eager to play with Arsenal? Because they're so confident this is a team that we can beat, because the manager doesn't know what he's doing. He's got the quality, but he doesn't know what he's doing. You see? Because player for player, I mean, with a better manager, that club can't be goofing. We can lose games against probably City because they've got a better technical know-how. But we can't be losing games against the second bottom team in the league and they outplay us on a match day. You know, if they win because of a red card or a dubious penalty that we can take. But they even outplay us. Fulham outplayed us, and they were right at the bottom there, So you wonder, okay, what's the problem? It's not the players, because that's Fulham, This is a management problem. So for me, I think Arteta is the biggest weakness that Arsenal has got right now. We can debate about player for player, but no team has got 100%. But Arteta right now is the one who's letting us down more. And as Isaac has said, we deserve to be happy. As fans, we've never betrayed our club. It's been so hard for me to transition from the Invisible 11. Then we went to the era of the Rosiskis and till the Chamaks. At that time, we were laughing at Monrik Chamak, jersey number 29. Still, jersey number. We were laughing at Chamak and saying, okay, this is the worst Arsenal can go to. But right now, I'll take Chamak on any given day than Havertz. Why? Because our quality has just gone too low. Too low. You can't even recognize that team. We used to laugh, okay, what is Danielson doing in the team? But right now, Danielson, defending midfielder from Brazil, that young boy went to AC Milan. I would take Danielson on any given day against Jorginho, Elneny, because those players who are positive, they'll take shots from far, they'll just do things, But right now, it's a mess. Everywhere it's a mess, and the manager isn't making it easy.
Prosper, what does he have to do to keep his job? Does he have to win the Premier League this season?
The first thing is, we're still in January. The first thing, he has to buy a centre forward and offload, as Isaac has said. We've got a lot of these guys who pick up water bottles and pass the other guys. We've got a lot of those guys, on the bench, and go to talk on the line in that big courts. We don't want motivational speakers on the bench. We want football players, So if he was to offload some of those and buy us a centre forward, at least that shows positiveness. Winning the league is something that goes with hand in hand with the points on the day. But also how you lose matters. When you lose with a manager making the right decisions, like substituting Saka and all these things we point out on every given day, then you understand, okay, this guy changed his game. There was no sideways, backwards. Martinelli is open. Nobody's kicking. They're passing the ball to Martinelli's side. They're all taking Saka's side, which is congested, and it comes back. If we win, if we lose the league, playing a whole kind of different football from what we've been seeing, then we would say, okay, this guy gave it his all. But right now, Arsenal, with the players we've got, we're playing at 20% of our potential. That's what hurts me the most.
Wow.
Alex, for me, if you gave me Sheffield United today, I will surely take points off Arsenal. I can even take the 3 points.
He is a better manager than Arteta right now.
What I'll tell my Sheffield team is, be compact, be quick to react, and then be quick to counter. Because number one, if you are compact, Arsenal is going to overplay the ball. Number two, double up. If you're going to double up against Martinelli and Saka, they have no other option.
Game over. Yeah.
I will surely take off points of Arsenal. And probably, if I have a good counter attack, beat Arsenal and have my 3 points. If you can see that, why does he not change? Number one is, the problem we have is not the player's mentality, is Arteta's mentality. He's got to change. If the manager changes his mentality, then we are good to go. Number one, listen. Last season, before last season, that the season where we finished 5th, we said he did not listen to his backroom staff. And somehow, in a way, he was listening. You could see them communicating. You could see them give him suggestions. We take this one off, we bring on this one. but lo, they have all become yes sir again. What he says, what you say is what we do. Your wish is our command. That is what they are doing at the moment. Let them be honest and say, here, for me, Saka is struggling. For my opinion, this will be okay. My opinion, this is my opinion. And then your opinion will always be your opinion. That is why we are liberal beings. We are entitled to our opinions. Nobody will punish you because of your opinion. So seriousness and ambition, that can take you somewhere. But if you're not ambitious enough, then you will go nowhere. So let Arteta be ambitious and know what he's doing, number one, and stop being proud. That is, as Prosper was saying, he is privileged to have managed Arsenal and be just given from the word go, manager, not head coach. It is a privilege. We have head coach all over, and he did not manager from the word go, and he's here making us suffer. No way. If you are manager, behave as one, or actually manage as one. Be a manager. Show us you can be ruthless in games, not scrappy wins. Actually, at the moment, if we had the Girona manager, we could be somewhere else. If we had Girona today playing Girona will beat us hands down.
But
it will beat us.
But Prosper said, for the board at least, Arteta has reached his targets, and the targets may be Arteta, just get into the top four, get us into the Champions League, and your job is done. So where's the pressure? There's no pressure, Isaac, because he's already reached and achieved the targets.
Yeah, okay. This is where I would back up Isaac. Much as the board would tell you something, but he's still a young manager who's not proven himself, who's not earned the right to coach a big club like Arsenal. He didn't earn that. He's never managed a full team. He never managed a full team before he came to Arsenal. You see? He has no pedigree, nothing to show on his CV, apart from Arsenal. So even if the board tells you, reach top 4, why can't you push the envelope a bit higher and say, okay, I can reach top 4 and let me try to win the league. I can reach top 4, but let me try to win the Champions League. You see? Or any trophy that comes our way that I can win, let me put my hands on it. Because it's also for his CV. When the board changes its mentality, or for some strange reason, Arsenal says, the Kroenke family says, we are selling the club. And then somebody else comes in. What happens to him and his CV that has nothing on it? You see? So he has to also bid for himself.
Right, okay.
If they say that give us top 4, then they have not come across the saying that says you aim for the sun and then you land on the sky. Why will you say top 4, then you will land on number 8? Say we want the league and then top 4. If you get top 4, well and good. If you give him a top 4, if you take your son or your daughter to school and then you tell them, just get grades that will get you to the next class, are you building that child, or you're destroying the child? You're destroying the child. If you tell the child, just get a grade that will get you to the next grade, no, you are not ambitious. That is not being ambitious.
Isaac, so are you saying that it's the board's fault because they haven't set the standard, or is it Mick Arteta's fault because he's just going by the parameters that he's been set by his employers? Whose fault is it?
It's twofold.
Number one,
for me,
it is a two-way thing. The board is overconfident on Arteta, and number two, Arteta also has some fault. He is not a clean man, because on the field it is your doing, it is your work to see it is not working and shift and change and adapt. And the board has not given him an ultimatum, because you cannot be losing all these derbies or drawing all these derbies. We've dropped so many points this season to derbies, and it hurts when you are losing a derby. A derby is a game where you should celebrate and say, it is good doing business with you, we've won. But we are going to derbies and Actually, at the moment, my friend of mine was saying that I'm confident you are going to beat Palace, and I told him, just wait. Don't tell
Yeah,
me we are
yeah,
going to beat Palace.
yeah,
Palace is a
yeah.
derby. You telling me we are going to win Palace? When you look at all the books, we have odd of 135, while Palace have somewhat 900, and it is the same order that West Ham had, and they beat us at at home. At home, we've become united, and there's no Trafford anymore. And right now, it's like we are saying there's no Emirates anymore. Anybody can come to Emirates and win. It shouldn't be. It should be a fortress. You go to the Emirates and you already the Patrick Vieira era. You go to the Emirates and you're already shaking. You know we are going to get beat. So if they beat us, please let's make sure they don't beat us 2 or 3 or 5 goals. Let's give them a good game. They win 1-0. But
Or
people are
2-0.
coming to the Emirates confident, playing. West Ham have taken points at the Emirates, all 3. And then we have Liverpool who've come with
Well,
I guess he has a
it's gone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let me just pick it up from where Isaac
yeah,
left
because
it.
I
You
have to
know,
wrap it up. Yeah, go on.
I should believe Fulham is also a derby, right?
Yeah,
Fulham is within London area. I wouldn't mind on any given day losing to a Fulham of the Clint Dempsey's, the is it that midfielder Murphy? Is it Murphy? Murphy.
yeah, yeah.
That was a better Fulham, but this Fulham, it really upset me. You know, it really upset me. It's just something that we can't accept anymore.
Mm.
No, people try to justify it with a money game or what. Come in, financially, Fulham is very far from us. Everything is just wrong about how we doing business, and business is how we play football, not how much money we're making in the bag. And also, as to the question you posed, you know, you said whose fault is it? You know, Alex, you give me a job today. I'm working for you. You tell me, Prosper, you have to achieve these goals. You see? But even as I'm achieving these goals, wouldn't it be a plus for me for me to take your company to the top? If
Of
I can,
course.
if it's within my capacity, and you tell me, Prosper, if you can get that to the probably the top 10 companies in England, then you do me a favor. Then I'm like, okay, on my own. Alex wants me to take it to the top 10. But I believe I can take it to the top spot. And if I do that, wouldn't it be a plus on me and my
Of
CV?
course. Of
You see,
course.
but for Arteta, it's like, as Isaac was saying, you know, previously he would listen to everyone. And that's why this season I'm calling him Almighty Arteta, because he's become a demigod on his own. I am the say at Arsenal, I am the yardstick, I'm everything. Nobody bullies me here, you know? And any player who tells the manager, I don't think this is working, then he turns it on the player, which is not on, because it's the same point. If I look at the players that are sitting on bench that are probably talented, like Emil Smith Rowe, I feel something happened. It's not about the football. That boy
No.
was a decent player enough to keep his number, but it wasn't about the football. It was something else. And probably when Arteta is away from the Emirates, it will come out eventually. But this is we doing at the club, and if that's why Arteta has a share of blame, and the board has a share of blame. And if it's the board, I can't forgive them. It's been 20 years. 2005, when is it Andrew was leaving, 2005, 2006, I think. He had
That's
that
right.
meeting with Arsene Wenger where everything was blamed on we built in a stadium, so we're not buying any more new players. Just after we lost the Champions League final, and then Henry was asking them, I was asking Wenger, why aren't we buying good players? I can't be playing with these players that are way below me. Just give me at least 4 players. I think he asked for 4 good players in that squad. And then Wenger was open enough to tell him, look, we ain't buying any high quality players for the long run. We accepted that as fans. And the stadium and everything and the loan is done.
Yeah,
but have the Monkeys stepped it up? No, they only stepped it up when Arteta came in and because of pressure from the fans. When we had enough and there was all demonstrations and everything, that's when they showed a bit of love. But that was just tough love to buy them more time. And here we are again, back to that chronic disease of top 4, make money.
Deja vu.
That's it.
Deja vu. Deja vu. Well, listen, what a show, man. What a show. Really, really good show, man. Hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, look, here comes Isaac. Isaac, as you're coming in, we've got to finish the show, man.
Let him come. Let him come. Let me come.
Let him come, but we're going to end the show. What's happened? Oh, he's having some problems.
Yeah.
Brother Isaac. Brother Isaac. Can you hear me?
So, okay, let's wrap it up. Isaac will join in. Let's wrap it up. As we said, no trophy, no job. For me, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No trophy, no job. I don't care if the board is part of it, they're the owners of the club. If he's going to be the 4 guy, he has to learn from it. You just don't play puppet. The blame can come to you. So no trophy. Let the guy match. We need I think Arsenal, it's about time, and I've been singing this song forever. We need an Italian manager at that club. There's something about Italian football that we don't have because we've been cleaning so much on the Spanish side of football, which is cuddling players, being jolly, but Italian kind of management is tough management, and we need that kind of toughness in our team, even on the pitch. We've been too soft, as Isaac was saying. We've just been too soft.
Okay. Well, listen, we just had a quick donation from Colin Young, who says Arteta on loan. Isaac, as you come in, we have to end the show. We've been going for 1 hour and 22 minutes, and it's been a really, really, really good and interesting show. A lot of topics, a lot of debates there. Isaac, can you hear me?
Hi, Isaac. Can you hear? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Arteta on loan, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to give your final points before we end the show, Isaac?
Isaac, final points before we end the show.
Okay, let me wrap up by saying being an Arsenal fan is a greatest pleasure, and we want to do good by the club and let the manager also do good by us, because we have been very patient. And actually, if I'm not wrong, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
So I'm saying, if I'm not wrong, actually, I think Arsenal's tickets, home tickets, are one of the most expensive tickets. So let the manager do good by us as we support this great club. That's all. I want to be happy.
All right. Okay, listen, we're going to end the show. We have to end the show. I've got to make some dinner. But listen, Prosper and Brother Isaac, this show has been one of the best in a long time. Really, really high quality debates and discussion on the show here. I hope to have both you guys back on very, very soon. We do have the Eager Talk back on Friday. And so let's see how things happens between now and Friday. Maybe Arteta probably could be on loan. Prosper, thank you very much for your time. Say hello to your family from everyone, please.
Thanks. Thanks, Alex. Isaac, I know you're going offline, but thanks for the contributions. And for every Cannon Fodder fan, keep the faith. We're bigger than Arteta. We're bigger than the Cronkies. We are Arsenal. The fans
Well
are
said.
Arsenal.
Well said.
Don't make a
Well
mistake.
said. Well said. Well said. So that's it. I will be back tomorrow evening, giving some more live news, maybe some transfer news. Maybe we probably would have brought somebody by then, but I wouldn't hold out for that because it's the hope that kills. This has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.